Another day, another humiliation for David Lammy, a depraved student who stabbed his housemate to death through the heart during an argument about their taste in music, seems to be taunting his victim's family by dancing and rapping in prison while smoking an unknown substance, maybe cannabis. Smirking Saeed Hussein Qazi, who's 26, is seen dancing and rapping while illegally filming himself on a mobile phone in jail for a clip, which he then posted on Instagram. Here it is.
Out of mind, you out of luck. Just like nobody even care if you be wrong. Why I fall out with my I'm up. Why nobody stand up for me when I'm down? You back in.
The convicted murderer served life with a minimum of 18 years. He is still serving that sentence, and he captioned the clip, "If I'm enjoying bang up more than you're enjoying life right now, reevaluate your life." And one of his followers commented, "He's back." Everything about that clip is illegal. Literally everything. Smoking what could very well be drugs, on a phone he's not supposed to have, posting to a social media account he's not supposed to be able to access, is another embarrassing episode for the Ministry of Justice, still reeling from the accidental release of HMP Chelmsford of notorious child sex offender Hadush Kabatu on Friday. And yesterday, David Lammy, of course, chuckled in Parliament when he was challenged about the accidental release of that Ethiopian illegal migrant.
Calamity Lammy strikes again. It's a national embarrassment. He has perfected the art of performative outrage to a T.
Yeah, and now here we go again today. Here we go again today. A murderer convicted in a prison cell, filming on his phone, smoking what may well be cannabis, posting on Instagram account, seeming to mock, of course, his victims. Do you really think that David Lammy's taking this stuff seriously?
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living, and maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade. And in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind. The more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver, and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
Let's get the views of my panel. We have got writer and broadcaster Emma Trimble, Reform UK councillor Jamie McIver, and Labour councillor Sebastian Salek. Emma, I'll start with you. I mean, look, here, looking at what's going on there in Britain's prisons, and you just think, has David Lammy lost control of this?
Well, yeah, I mean, the MOJ is a complete disgrace, not just because of this, other things as well. But just seeing him there chuckling about this, I mean, I get there was a farcical, dark, humorous aspect about the fact that this guy kept going back to the prison and knocking on the door and asking to be let in. But this is not funny. You know, this guy made his way all the way from Chelmsford to Finsbury Park, and every single woman that he came into contact along the way was in danger. Every single child he came into contact along the way is in danger. And David Lammy laughs. I mean, I just seeing him chuckle in that video clip there, I feel furious. And I think that many people, I'm sure most people across the country, whether they're concerned about their wives, their sisters, their daughters, people have had enough of this. We're sick of it. And imagine being the family of the person, of the boy who was murdered by this guy, seeing him enjoying himself in prison, apparently clearly it's very easy to get hold of all of these illegal things, whether it's the phone or the whatever it is that he's smoking there. I mean, it's a joke, but it's not funny.
I mean, is David Lammy just the wrong man to be anywhere near the justice system, do you think?
Well, he was never the right man to be in government, full stop, as far as I'm concerned. He completely messed up the Foreign Office, made Britain be an international embarrassment. What sort of Prime Minister puts someone that's an international embarrassment into one of the most sensitive departments in government, the Ministry of Justice? You can't call yourself the Ministry of Justice if people that are meant to be being punished are being released by accident or on social media trying to taunt the victims' families of somebody you've killed. It is all about standards, and one thing that we haven't got from this Labour government is any sort of standard at all. But justice is a very serious office of state. David Lammy doesn't take it seriously, and we've seen that just with some of the last week's news. But more importantly, this guy's record in office has always been pretty shambolic, and we've got a Prime Minister that has terrible judgment by putting him into that department.
OK, well, I don't know if we might be able to play that video again without sound at all, just to remind ourselves of what happened. But, yeah, I mean, look, obviously there's the combination of stuff. I mean, everything seems to be going a bit wrong at the moment, Sebastian, doesn't it? You know, David Lammy chuckling away there in the House of Commons and immediately followed up by a murderer essentially taunting his victim by appearing to smoke drugs and rapping in prison on an illegal phone.
Yeah, a lot happening here. Let's be honest about the Harish Kabati situation. That was a big mess up. Does the Justice Secretary have to take responsibility for that? Of course he does. Can he be blamed for that? I don't think so. He doesn't work at HMP Chelmsford. He wasn't there signing him off accidentally. So it would be false to say that it is his fault. Now, of course, he's got to clean up the mess, but let's not get sidetracked by that. Chappie in prison, terrible thing to do. I'm pleased that he's going to be punished for it. He deserves it. He shouldn't be taunting his victim's family like that. It's not the right thing to do. He shouldn't have cigarettes. He shouldn't be smoking. Whatever he's smoking, let's not speculate on that because we don't know. But he certainly shouldn't be doing that. I think that tells us he's probably not having a great time. If he's feeling the need to show off like that, it's probably not going well for him.
No, absolutely not. I mean, prisoners are getting PlayStations and suites and all sorts of wonderful privileges. The idea that he's having a terrible time while he's got his, smoking and posting and bragging about it, I just think is ridiculous. For someone like that in particular, prison should be a punishment. And David Lammy can absolutely be held responsible for laughing and not taking the situation seriously. One of the things that is really
What was he laughing at? Let's be clear about that. What was he laughing at?
He was laughing at Robert Jenrick.
Who said what?
Calling him out for being
a calamity Lammy, which is exactly what he is.
So he was being called an insult by a purportedly grown man, and he was laughing that off. I don't think that's unreasonable. I think it's a bit of a stretch to say that he was laughing at the situation.
He was being described as a complete calamity, and his surname was used, Calamity Lammy. That is exactly what David Lammy is. He's a calamity to the office of state that he upholds.
Do you think it's appropriate to call people names?
It's absolutely appropriate in politics to describe somebody for what they are. David Lammy has been a calamity.
Would you say that name calling is appropriate?
It's a descriptive word.
Lammy hit back by saying about Robert Jenrick that his mother would have said if he was a chocolate he would lick himself. So they're both at it, aren't
sure.
they?
I'm not endorsing those standards in the House of Commons at all. What I'm saying is that the laughing is part of that. I think it's unfair to characterise that as laughing at the situation because it's just false. You're really stretching that.
This is also a government who, if you think about all of the disorder that has taken place in the time when Labour have been in government, one of the things that is really upsetting people at the moment and has actually led to people quite seriously discussing the prospect of civil war is two-tier justice in this country. And David Lammy is responsible for justice.
Civil war?
People are quite seriously having conversations about that.
Who thinks we're at civil war?
Well, if you look at the streets of Whitechapel at the weekend, I think you can draw your own conclusion as to what this government is doing to divide this country. But if you want to talk about Calamity Lammy...
It was UKIP who put on that protest.
If you want to talk about Calamity Lammy...
What's the government got to do with that?
Describing David Lammy as a calamity...
It was prevented from happening in that particular place. Sorry, Jamie, I'm cutting you off. Go on.
Describing David Lammy as a calamity is very accurate. This is a Foreign Secretary that has handed our overseas territories to Mauritius. This man is a calamity in the offices of state he upholds.
A deal that was organised by the Tories.
And he should not be laughing, he should be insulted.
I just want to ourselves on because we have got a lot to get through tonight. A prison service spokesperson said any offender caught using a phone or social media in prison will face punishment, which could include additional time behind bars. I just want to